Hey guys, and welcome to our Module 8 study guide. We're talking about multiplying fractions primarily in this module with an inclusion of writing and interpreting some expressions as well as applying and extending some understanding of multiplication and division to multiply and divide fractions. So we're going to do a couple problems together, and I hope you do well. Make sure you have a pencil and a multiplication chart, and let's go. So number 1 says, Jackson is playing a video game and he just became a level 13 superhero. Then the following things happen in order. 1, he loses 3 levels. 2, he gains 5 levels. 3, he defeats a level boss. His level becomes double of what it was before fighting the boss. Now here's what you guys need to do. We need to write and solve the equation for the wizard level Jackson is after he defeats the level boss. The equation should keep track of what happens in each step above. All right, so what I'm going to do for you is I'm going to give you 2 different choices, and I want you to choose which expression you think, which equation rather, keeps track of what happens in each step above. All right, so take a minute to look at the 2 different expressions that we have. The first one is 13 plus 3 minus 5 times half, or is it 13 minus 3 plus 5 times 2? So, on your papers, I want you to choose which expression you think is the correct expression. Now, once you do that, go ahead and solve the equation to figure out what wizard level Jackson is after he defeats the level boss. Good luck. Okay, welcome back. So let's take a look at number 2. A group of friends were earning money shoveling mulch off their neighbor's landscaping. They earned $12 per landscape they mulched. So a group had 16 landscapes to mulch. If one of them shoveled a fourth of the landscapes, how many landscapes did he mulch? Okay, so looks like I'm doing a fractional piece, and I know I'm doing 1/4 of how many landscapes? 16. So I can turn this into a multiplication problem or use my shortcuts. I'm going to remember that the word of is the same as multiply. So I can substitute that and rewrite my fractions as a multiplication sentence and rename accordingly. Over to 2B, another group member shoveled 3/5 of 15 landscapes. How many landscapes did they shovel? So in this time, I'm not doing a unit fraction, 1/5. I'm actually going to figure out 3/5 of a whole number. Again, that word of, that's a code word. I know then I'm going to be multiplying. So I can set my fractions up, put that whole number over 1, solve and rename. Great job. Go ahead and pause the video if you need some more time to calculate that. And let's move on to number 3. Number 3 has 3 different parts to it. It says the members of the Pokemon training team like to continue training on their own during the summer. Butterfree flew 3.5 miles one day. Golbat flew 2 times as far as Butterfree. So how far did they fly? So I'm going to have to use Golbat's numbers as well as Butterfree's. So I see back in my problem, if Golbat is 2 times Butterfree's, I can go ahead and set up my problem like this. Now we learned in class that we need to make our whole numbers into fractions and then our improper fractions into mixed numbers. So my 2 is really going to be 2 over 1, and my 3.5, I'm going to apply that cartwheel to make it improper. So I'm going to multiply and then add. So 2 1/2 becomes how many halves altogether? Take a minute and calculate that. Yeah, 7 halves. So now I can multiply across and rename if necessary. So when I move on to 3b, Beautifly flew 1/3 as far as Butterfree. So again, going back to Butterfree's number, I know that Butterfly, did 1/3 of their number. And I can rewrite that. Now I know 3 1/2 already is 7 halves. I solved that in the first one. So I can rewrite that. 1/3 of 7 halves. And then our last one, Pie Dove flew 3.5 times as far as Beautifly. So you're going to need to use the answer you got there and figure out, using our code words, how much Pie Dove flew. Good luck, guys.